NXT was so good tonight with Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship inside a steel cage. So much so that whoever produced that match, I'd personally like to shake your fucking hand. Also, my thoughts on Kenny Omega blasting WWE for putting Evolve 131, their 10-year anniversary show, on the WWE Network to combat Fight for the Fallen. All this plus so much more right here for NXT on Off the Script.
Delete! This is mine.
Alive with it. People still did. I'd like to thank the local neighborhood Starbucks for allowing me to use the internet today, because without them, I wouldn't have been able to gather news and notes for today. I wouldn't be able to gather news and notes for Friday's Off the Script, which, by the way, is going to be absolutely fucking on fire. I am going to roast Mr. Seth Rollins. You want to roast Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. Jon Moxley? We're going to do the same to you on Off the Script. Wait till you guys hear the scathing rant on one Universal Champion Seth Rollins. Anyway, there's your little fucking cock tease for Friday. But I'd like to thank Starbucks, as I had to wander on in, order a venti caramel macchiato with an added shot of espresso, because it usually comes with 3. I get a 4th. That's the way you gotta do it, bro. You gotta live dangerously. So I walked in. I took my news and notes for Friday. I took my news and notes for today. I didn't have any internet, because I'd like to thank also my internet provider for having a neighborhood outage today, starting at 8 a.m. Couldn't do anything at home, couldn't email, didn't have Wi-Fi, couldn't play Destiny. The fuck was I going to do all day? So I went to Starbucks, had a coffee, sat down for a couple hours, did what I had to do, fucked around on Twitter. And the estimated time of a fix was going to be anywhere between 8 a.m. this morning and 8:30 p.m. tonight. I'm like, whoa! I gotta watch NXT, bro. I gotta watch Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler in a steel cage match. Thank God I got home around 6 p.m., made some dinner. By the time I was done dinner, I had internet again. Clearly, you're seeing my ugly fucking face right here on YouTube. So there you go. That's my fucking story. This is NXT right here on Off the Script. It is Wednesday, June 26th, 2019. We're going to talk about NXT tonight, but I got news and rumors for you, so don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to hit all of NXT right here on Off the Script. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Instagram, and the little blue birdie says go and follow me on Twitter as well, folks. It'll do you very good, and it's the best way to keep up to date on everything that's happening right here on the channel, because YouTube ain't doing its job, so you might as well let the little birdie do his. Instagram and Twitter, same at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. And if you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206. If you guys missed anything that I've uploaded on the channel already this week, Raw! My goodness, man. I think the funniest thing I seen today was a tweet that said, Raw and SmackDown have been a lot better the last 2 weeks. WWE has hit a home run this week with Stomping Grounds, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown Live. I love whatever drugs that individual was on. Clearly a fucking buffoon. Raw and SmackDown have been absolutely dog shit the last couple of weeks. It's been dog shit all year. I don't associate anything good with Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. If God tried, he himself could not even fix Monday Night Raw. And then on SmackDown Live, might as well be Monday Night Raw, they continue to do nothing right on Tuesday night. Yeah, Shane, I'm mad too, bro. I'm mad too. If you guys missed Off the Script as well last weekend, Dear Vince about Stomping Grounds, Shane McMahon's push, not only infuriating all of us, but the WWE locker room as well, and Cody, my good bro Cody, major news on the direction of AEW Weekly Television. You know, believe it or not, they actually have a direction, and they haven't even had one weekly television show yet. And Stomping Grounds, that was Sunday. We talked about that as well. Everything you need is linked in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of the screen. Drop it down. Everything you guys will need is right there. Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Got to shout out my fine friends over at Audible. They've been sponsoring the podcast. They've been supporting the podcast for over 3 years now. And if you guys want to use our unique link, audibletrial.com/offthescript, you're going to get 30 days free of their service and one free audiobook of your choice. JD, that sounds great. I love getting shit for free. What do I got to do? Use our link, go through the sign-up process, download the free Audible app on iPhone and Google devices, and then you're on your way. You got over 200,000 choices to choose from. They're going to give you one free audiobook. Like I said, 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are sports and wrestling related. If you guys don't want sports, they got cooking, they got romance, they got sci-fi, they got politics. They got everything you need right there on Audible. And the best part is, if you guys feel like Audible's not for you, or if you just want to sign up and support the podcast, you can cancel anytime within the 30 days and keep your audiobook for free no matter what. None of this funny business where you sign up and they're going to take the book back. You're going to sign up, you can cancel, and they're going to let you keep the audiobook for free. Sounds like a great deal to me, man. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Let them know that JD sent you to help support Off the Script. I'm going to throw this story in on the podcast tonight instead of waiting till Friday to talk about it. Because I know NXT talent is going to be on this show, and the majority of the talent in WWE that work with Evolve is from NXT. This story actually pissed me off today, and I find it very laughable how WWE is turning the other cheek when it comes to anything all elite wrestling. Oh, they're not worried. Oh, WWE isn't concerned about what the elite are doing. They don't give a shit. They're not going to impact their business. Really now. It's amazing to me how people still, as we get this train rolling on the tracks with AEW, no question that All Out is probably going to be the biggest wrestling show of the entire year, WWE shows included. And people still are on board with hating AEW. They don't realize that the AEW effect that I've been mentioning since day fucking one, everybody else is jumping on board with using that terminology, has been real since day one. It's being seen in the locker room. It's being seen with Jon Moxley jumping ship and going to do what he needed to do as far as his happiness goes. The fact that WWE is going to be directly competing with AEW with NXT UK TakeOver in August, same day, just a couple of hours earlier here in the States. And the fact that WWE is directly competing with AEW as far as NXT goes. It's all the AEW effect. And this particular situation actually pissed me off because when people say that, I still don't understand where their logic is coming from. Of course WWE is worried. Of course WWE knows. They might not be saying it verbally, but their actions speak louder than anything that they could possibly say. Today, WWE has announced on the WWE Network that they will be airing an Evolve special to combat AEW's Fight for the Fallen. WWE has the ability to put whatever the fuck they want on their network. It's their own network. They're working directly with Evolve. They could put Evolve shows on the WWE Network. This has been a thing that's been talked about for months. I remember this time last year, people were getting surveys about PWG and all these other fucking promotions, ICW, Evolve, certain UK promotions that WWE talent are sometimes permitted to work. There is a want for other promotions to be on the WWE Network. Some of you might not agree with that. Some of you want more content on the network because it makes the network that much more enticing. Especially for WWE, to have all these different promotions. Look at what we got. It's not just WWE. You could watch all these other promotions and be a happy wrestling fan. WWE wants to make the network the number one centralized hub for everything that is popular in pro wrestling right now. I wish that they would sit down and come up with ways to make Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live popular and cool again, but that is going to be up to Fox Sports, who right now is unhappy. No shit. With Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live and the numbers that WWE is doing coming out of stomping grounds as far as attendance and interest ratings. So Fox is sitting down in an emergency meeting with Vince, Triple H, Stephanie, and Shane. I can't wait. I wish. Oh my God. If I had a magic genie, if I had Will Smith pop out of a fucking lantern, I would say my number one wish is to be a fly on the wall in that meeting room. But this, with Evolve, has dated back to last year. We didn't know when it was going to happen, if it was going to happen at all. That's the funny thing. They own plenty of libraries. There's WWE, a lot of footage that they have not put out on the network yet. And they have partnerships with other companies that would probably love the exposure. Now it looks like WWE Network is getting a little closer to showing current non-WWE content on the network. The Wrap reports that WWE Network is slated to air the upcoming Evolve 10-year anniversary show, aka Evolve 131, on July 13th. Adam Cole will be making a special appearance during the show where he will defend the NXT title against Akira Tozawa. Interesting. In case you're keeping track, this is the same day that AEW will be doing Fight for the Fallen. Many current NXT superstars have had a lot of involvement with Evolve as the company who has fed plenty of superstars through their promotion to NXT and into WWE's developmental system. Got a lot of great talent down there. NXT talent from the Street Profits to the Undisputed Era to Johnny Gargano have made their name in Evolve. And now they're back in Evolve paying homage to where they came from. I remember I went to go see Johnny Gargano versus Austin Theory at Evolve back in January, right before the Royal Rumble. Had a great time. I may actually be attending the Evolve show this coming Saturday in Queens. And Tommaso Ciampa's going to be there. Apparently he's having a special meet and greet. I'll pay to go see Ciampa and then get some great wrestling action out of it as well. It was a great time. So if you guys are going to be there, I'll let you know. Follow me on Twitter and maybe we could do something. Shake my hand, call me an asshole, call me a goon, whatever. I might be there simply out of the curiosity that Ciampa is going to be there. I'd like to have a little word with the greatest sports entertainer of all time. Anyway. But many current NXT superstars have been involved with Evolve, and a lot of guys, like I mentioned, are currently making special appearances. There was no mention of future Evolve events being made available through the WWE Network after this announcement today by The Wrap. WWE actually, made this official on their Twitter account, saying that, as first reported by The Wrap, we will be doing Evolve 131, their 10-year anniversary show. Now, this could be a first try. Let me think about this for a second. This could be a first try for WWE to gauge interest, to see how many people would be interested in seeing other promotions, mainly Evolve, on the WWE Network. Or this could be a case where WWE is actually letting their actions speak volumes as to what they think about AEW. So, I don't understand why you couldn't do this on any other weekend. You have to specifically wait for Fight for the Fallen, which was or has been announced for weeks. It's been announced for weeks. Dates, time, location, what they're doing the event for. This has been in the works since the fucking press conference before Double or Nothing. And now you want to pick this weekend to show Evolve. I wonder why. This is blatant And this is WWE saying, yeah, we're worried about AEW. We're going to show them that we can combat them for whatever reason with the best wrestling in the world. Evolve and NXT join forces, and we're going to battle AEW. Might not be blatant to WWE, but it certainly was blatant to everybody else, including one Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega shoots on WWE for undermining a charity show. This tweet has been taken down, and Omega says he said what he had to say, and he deleted the tweet because the context of the tweet in the comment section in the thread was nothing but toxic, in his own words. Today it was confirmed by WWE that Evolve Wrestling and their 10-year anniversary show will be streamed on the WWE Network. July 13th is the place, same night as Fight for the Fallen. Many people on social media appear to be excited for this Evolve show and the fact that it will be streamed on the network in just over 2 weeks. However, one of AEW's executive vice presidents is far from happy with WWE's decision to stream the show on the same day as AEW's Fight for the Fallen event. Kenny Omega says this, and I quote, "If lining your pockets with blood money is okay, then what's wrong with trying to undermine a charity show for victims of gun violence? I hear that healthy competition is supposed to be a good thing, and yet I can't help but feel like I'm going to be sick." He said this, and within 10 minutes, the tweet was deleted. Speaking of WWE's decision to broadcast the show, Omega said that the company were trying to undermine a charity show for victims of gun violence. For those that aren't aware, AEW higher-ups have confirmed that a percentage of the profits made from the event will be donated to victims of gun violence. Omega would then go on to say that rather than healthy competition, WWE's decision to do this made him feel ill this afternoon. WWE are slimy pieces of shit. They are absolutely blatant in their decision to do this, no matter who made the call, no matter what brand is involved. The fact that they are worried about a fucking Fight for the Fallen event that really doesn't mean anything. It's just them. AEW is minding their own business. This is an event where the proceeds are going to go to victims of gun violence. Watch the road to Fight for the Fallen. The first 6 minutes of the fucking video, the first 4 or 5 minutes of the video today, episode 1 of the road to Fight for the Fallen, is detailing what an impact those Madden shootings were on the entire community, and how Tony Khan wanted to get involved in helping families of gun violence. And if you've been affected by gun violence, they're minding their own business, doing this for a good cause, and WWE is over here trying to undermine the fucking event, thinking that it's some big deal. Meanwhile, they're doing it for a fucking community. All the wrestlers and AEW are banding together to do it for a fucking community, for a good cause, and WWE's out here trying to fucking make it a competitive thing. This isn't All Out. I don't understand that. If you don't see that WWE's blatant in this entire situation, you're a fucking fool. If I'm WWE, I'm embarrassed. I am embarrassed. You had any Saturday from January till now, and then after July 13th, to do the 10-year anniversary show. Now, I don't know the numbers or the specifics, but is July 13th the official anniversary date of Evolve? If that's the case, then okay. It's a weird fucking bizarre coincidence. But I don't know why you couldn't wait a Saturday or do it the Saturday before to do the anniversary show. All year you've been sending out feelers and surveys. Do you want to see other wrestling promotions on the WWE Network, with Evolve being one of them? Now you decide to go and do and put Evolve on the WWE Network. How fucking petty are you? Absolutely pathetic. If I'm a businessman and I'm running a wrestling promotion and I know that AEW is doing it for a good cause, am I going to intentionally put on another show to directly compete with something that they're streaming on Bleacher Report Live and other sources? Am I going to directly compete with them and try to take their thunder away when I know that AEW is doing this for the entire community of Jacksonville and supporting families of gun violence. You know how shitty WWE looks coming off this announcement? My God, man. Are they worried? Man, they're more than worried. They are absolutely more than worried. They're petrified at this point. With the declining ratings and the viewership and fan attendance and just overall interest in the fucking product, now they're going and doing this. Man, you're making enemies all over the fucking place. People are already dissatisfied with what you're doing on Monday and Tuesday nights. Now you're pulling something like this? And Kenny Omega said it best. The man is very bright. It's okay for you to take blood money, but for us to do a fucking show that most of the proceeds are going to gun violence, now you want to be in the sport of healthy competition? Come on, man. WWE should be absolutely fucking ashamed of themselves. Unreal. If I'm WWE, I would have never even thought about doing that, but they don't care about their own company. They don't care about AEW. They just blindly do what they want to do, and they look like fools in the aftermath. Good. I'm at a point right now where I want to see WWE fail because that's the only way they're going to get it through their fucking skulls that they're fucking up. Moving on. I got news on Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. Kyle O'Reilly is out of action with a staph infection. He's supposed to be at the Evolve show this coming Saturday in Queens. Now, we all know what staph infections have done to those in WWE throughout history. CM Punk claimed that WWE made him wrestle with one for quite a while. Dean Ambrose says during his hiatus on the road to recovery that he developed a staph infection and he almost died in the hospital. Now it looks like a staph infection is bothering Kyle O'Reilly as Pro Wrestling Sheet reports. Therefore, he will not be allowed to work the Evolve 129 and 130 events this weekend. WWE was obviously concerned about the issue, so they pulled Kyle O'Reilly from the Evolve events. It was previously reported that Bobby Fish will not work those shows either, and I got news on him in a second. So hopefully that Bobby Fish injury is nothing serious and he'll be ready for TakeOver Toronto. Same goes for Kyle O'Reilly. These guys are such a focus on NXT television. They deserve a rest. They've been busting their ass. Undisputed Era is legitimately carrying NXT on their back right now, along with Riddle and Velveteen Dream and Johnny Gargano. So you got a lot holding, NXT up with Undisputed Era. So hopefully that's this staph infection. Hopefully this time off, he recuperates, he gets better. Same thing goes for Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish's injury has been revealed. If you guys watched last week in that great six-man tag, it was during the six-man tag where Velveteen Dream did a lion salt or springboard moonsault off the second rope, and it looked like his knee connected with Bobby Fish's nose. But in fact, Bobby Fish was hurt, and he was pulled from various NXT house shows for a reason. This is the reason. It connected with Fish's nose, and it was actually a jaw injury. Fish's eyes started to swell shut during the match. Hopefully whatever is wrong with Bobby Fish's jaw won't keep him out of action for too long, and he will be able to make NXT TakeOver Toronto. So my thoughts and prayers go out to both guys. That's a terrible situation for Bobby Fish. He just came back from injury. He seemed to be hitting the stride again with Undisputed Era. Kyle O'Reilly's been a fucking workhorse for NXT. He deserves a break, but both Fish with the jaw and O'Reilly with the staph infection, they deserve some rest and recuperation. They will be hopefully okay by TakeOver Toronto. Speaking of TakeOver Toronto, rumor killer on the NXT TakeOver Toronto main event being changed. There are spoilers in this report, so if you guys don't want to hear the spoilers, please do not listen and skip ahead. NXT TakeOver Toronto will be a big deal for NXT. However, some people are misled about the main event. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that Matt Riddle was slated for a big title match at TakeOver Toronto against Adam Cole. However, when they started putting the card together, that match was nowhere to be seen. In fact, Riddle isn't even on the card. The reason for this change was explained by Dave Meltzer. However, Mike Johnson noted on PW Insider Elite Audio that he has no idea where this rumor got started because it was never true to begin with. He says, and I quote, "I don't know where this got started, but there was a rumor that Matt Riddle was supposed to be in the main event of TakeOver Toronto. I was told that is not the case, and it was never the case. It was always supposed to be Gargano versus Cole, number 3, and I don't know where it got started with the whole Riddle thing. But I just wanted to mention this because a couple people emailed me about it over the weekend. End quote. Matt Riddle has had a great future in WWE. Of course, things will be more certain when he is just quitting on social media in his burial of Bill Goldberg, which I will talk about right now. Apparently, Matt Riddle, it might have been in the cards or might have been a thought to put Matt Riddle in the main event. Might have been a thought to put him on the TakeOver card. But Matt Riddle reportedly lost his push as an indirect message for trolling Bill Goldberg. This is now 100% confirmed. Matt Riddle and Goldberg apparently have legit heat, which you guys know, that only amplified over Super Showdown weekend. However, when Riddle showed up for the NXT TV tapings, he was squashed pretty hard. It might not look like that from last week, but as you guys will see in the tapings, that is not the case at all. We won't spoil it here, but I am going to say that there was an indirect message sent to him via a huge individual. And I will not say who that is here because I don't want any spoilers, but even though I did spoil the Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole, number 3 main event for TakeOver Toronto, I don't want to spoil this because I'm very interested in this. In fact, more interested in a third Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano match, which I was kind of over the second time when Gargano lost the title. Brad Shepard is reporting this on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast, that Riddle's booking in NXT after making those tweets was intended as an indirect message to the original bro. He says this, and I quote, "It was confirmed to me by a source in WWE that Matt Riddle getting jumped by, quote-unquote, blank, and not going straight to the main event of TakeOver wasn't a coincidence after the Goldberg tweets. I'm still told he's a favorite and he'll get his time eventually, but this attack on NXT TV that you will see in the coming weeks was an indirect message to him about becoming too chatty on Twitter regarding your coworkers, especially WWE Hall of Famers." So there you go, folks. Confirmed that Matt Riddle is slightly being punished. You know, he had to be pulled a couple steps back. The leash was pulled back on Matt Riddle just a little bit, which, you know, I am 50-50 on. I mentioned this already. I am in the boat of Matt Riddle wanting to just be honest and open and true. That's who he is. But at the same time, you got to concentrate and worry about who you're working for. This is not some random independent promotion where, you know, you're on your own and you're selling T-shirts out of the back of your fucking van and you're making your own bookings and whatnot. Now you're working for WWE. The entire landscape of your career is changing rapidly every single day. You just can't go on social media after you watch a Super Showdown and blast Bill Goldberg, who's in the WWE Hall of Fame. That's not really going to benefit you as far as you moving on up to the main roster, which at a point right now I hope never happens. But that's neither here or there. Point being, you got to keep your mouth shut on this. You can still be yourself, but you can't really be burying Bill Goldberg because of one bad match that Bill had with The Undertaker. So whatever you said in the past, whatever was detailed in whatever article was written about you, keep it there. It was said, he was punished, and hopefully the punishment now can be swept under the rug and we can move on, because Matt Riddle is definitely the face of NXT and his time will inevitably be coming, and he will definitely be the NXT World Champion. You just got to calm yourself and remember who you work for. Anything that goes on social media, just like the fucking Kenny Omega tweet, that shit was screenshotted within seconds of it being said, and it was all over the place, and now it's a major story for the day on Wednesday. So whatever Matt Riddle said about Bill Goldberg, I'm sure will continue to resonate with everybody on the main roster. What happened to Leo Rush? He mentioned something about Emma getting fired. He was never the same. I don't want to see Matt Riddle suffer the same fate as a Leo Rush, which I don't think will happen, but stranger things have happened. What if everybody on the main roster is a fan of Bill Goldberg, and they respect and appreciate Bill Goldberg, and Matt Riddle walks on into the locker room, and people look at him like they looked at Leo Rush? I don't want that to happen to Matt Riddle, and you got to be careful from here on out on what you have to say. Finally, guys, before we get into the review of tonight's show, David Starr, who I am growing very fond of. I think David Starr is one of the best promos on the indie circuit. David Starr actually had a run-in with the WWE United Kingdom Championship. David Starr steps on the United Kingdom Championship in a match with Walter, and Pete Dunne was not too happy about it. David Starr took on Walter at an OTT show last week, and David Starr didn't make himself any friends in the WWE with his antics. Part of the way into the match, Starr got a hold of the UK title, stepped on it, and called Walter a sellout for joining NXT UK earlier this year. Unsurprisingly, the reaction to this has been mixed, with a number of fans calling Starr out for being petty. On the other hand, many have praised him for his character work and supporting indie wrestling. Personally, I'm in the second camp here with all of this as well. I got this report from the guys over at Wrestle Talk. I am in their camp. I'm in the camp of supporting David Starr and his character and his work. I actually called a few matches for David Starr, and he is very ingrained in what he does here. This is him. The whole thing with him in the Ring of Honor Championship and him fighting Jay Lethal over in Israel, that was fucking brilliant work. I never seen the match. I didn't even hear about the match, but the lead up to the match and the promos that he was cutting on Ring of Honor and Sinclair about the Ring of Honor title and Jay Lethal and what he thought of Jay Lethal and Sinclair and the big conglomerate that is Sinclair, I thought it was fucking great. I thought it was great. It was 2 minutes and 30 seconds of just unadulterated promo, which you don't really see in pro wrestling. He is true to his character. He is true to his body of work. I don't think he would ever mean to disrespect Walter in that case. Because Walter, if you really think about it, is still an independent worker. He might be with the WWE. He might be their UK champion. But Walter is still working the indies wherever he sees fit. He didn't sign exclusively with the WWE. He's able to work and do what he continues to do on the indies. So I don't understand why people are just going out of their way to shit on David Starr. This is his gimmick. This is his character. If you've seen what he did in the past, this is him. Now, Pete Dunne responded, and he said this via tweet. Anti-contract, and he put an X emoji. Anti-independent, he put an X emoji. Anti-David Starr, check mark. He put a check mark emoji. I think people are taking this and blowing it way out of proportion. You know, I don't even know what David Starr thinks of the big wrestling promotions, but I'm going to go and say that this is him just being his wrestling character. I don't think he meant any ill will towards Walter or the WWE UK Championship or independent wrestling or who he thinks is independent or not. I don't think so. So I think people are blowing this way out of proportion. David Starr is an entertainer. He's living the independent life and the independent gimmick. Let him do that. Let him do that. If he wants to do that and he wants to remain in the indies and find major success doing that and not want to go to the WWE, you got to respect that too. Because not everybody's going to succeed in the WWE. And if he found success and wants to maintain that on the indies, then so be it. So be it. I am with David Starr on this. I don't think this was a big deal like people intended it to be. Make sure you guys are following me on Harry's, man. Before we get into the review, guys, I got to shout out my good friends over at Harry's, harrys.com/script. Make sure you guys go to harrys.com/script and get your $13 value trial sets. This is a great deal for you guys, and I've been using Harry's for a very long time, and I don't find myself ever wanting to go back and shaving with anything else, man. Join the 10 million that have used Harry's. Claim your offer today by going to harrys.com/script. Did you guys know that Harry's founders are just two regular guys who are tired of getting ripped off and paying for overpriced gimmicks? Whether they be vibrating heads, flex balls, handles that look like a prop in some cheesy sci-fi movie. These are just some of the tactics that the leading brands have used to overcharge us, the consumer, for years. Harry's makes quality, durable blades at a fair price, only $2 per blade. To keep prices low, they cut out the middleman. Harry's bought a world-class blade factory in Germany that's been making some of the best razor blades in the world for 99 years. Now they can provide you great quality at factory direct prices and a 100% quality guarantee. If you don't love your shave, let them know and they will give you a full refund. JD, this sounds great. What am I going to get? You're going to get a razor handle with an easy grip, 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip, and a trimmer. JD, this sounds great. I want to sign up, but what am I going to get? You're going to get a razor handle. Choice of color is yours. The orange, the navy blue, or the evergreen. 5-blade razor with a lubricating strip and a trimmer blade for a close, comfortable shave. Rich lathering shave gel that will leave you smelling great and feels great on your skin. And a travel blade cover as well to keep your razor dry and easy on the go. And it's great if you're a traveling man for business or if you're just spending the time that you want over your girl's house. You're going out for a night on the town, dinner, movie, some drinks. You want to look good? Harry's has got you covered, man, with that travel blade cover. Listeners of my show can redeem their trial set at harrys.com/script. Make sure you go to harrys.com/script to redeem your offer and let them know that I sent you to help support Off the Script. Man, I mentioned in the beginning when I did the intro to tonight's podcast, whoever produced the main event of this week's show, I'd like to personally shake your hand. Seriously, I mean that wholeheartedly. I know I give WWE a very difficult time. I give literally everybody a fucking hard time when it comes to this product, but I like what I like. I have a certain vision for what I want out of my pro wrestling. I honestly think whatever Triple H is doing in NXT, his work would benefit the main roster. Just in feel, direction, it's what WWE needs to do. And whoever produced that main event tonight did an absolutely fantastic job. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That steel cage match, the way that it ended, everything that went into it, the chaotic ending, which, if you're a wrestling fan, steel cage matches are supposed to keep out everybody from entering, except for the two people or the tag team that are inside. And that's not the case. Steel cage matches never keep anybody out of the steel cage structure. That was definitely an instance on tonight's NXT. Nobody was left outside in this match. Everybody that interfered found their way inside the cage at some point in this match. Whoever produced that match did a fantastic job. The storytelling was on point. And I put out a tweet when the show was over. The women of NXT absolutely outshined everything on WWE television this week. So much so that the main roster women, I said, right now, currently, minus Sasha Banks, right now the main roster women cannot even hold a candle to what the women in NXT are doing. Unreal. I love this episode of NXT. That main event was fucking phenomenal. And the show started off in a very JD-like way. You know I love tournaments. And we got the NXT Breakout Tournament starting the show tonight. Joaquin Wilde versus Angel Garza. First round match, NXT Breakout Tournament. Wilde is formerly known as DJZ. Garza was Garza Jr. from Impact. Wilde came out looking very like Mustafa Ali. Very much so. He looked like a character right out of Mortal Kombat. I don't know what the whole idea is for his glow-up mask and his glow-up vest. It looked aesthetically pleasing. It looked great. It's got a great intro. And I loved it. It's very similar to what Mustafa Ali is doing on SmackDown Live, or I should say what Mustafa Ali was doing, being that they removed him from TV for whatever fucking reason. Another one of these bizarre mysteries, like Buddy Murphy. Where the fuck is he? If you're not using him, Buddy Murphy, I'd love to see back down to NXT, possibly another match with the Velveteen Dream. Joaquin Wilde came out looking like Mustafa Ali. I don't know if you guys felt the same way about Garza Jr. I don't know much about Garza Jr. or Angel Garza here in WWE. Man, he came out, and when he had his arms in the air, man, I swear to God, I thought I was watching Eddie Guerrero reincarnated on NXT TV tonight. I got so many feelings about Eddie Guerrero watching Garza Jr. just do his thing, man. He's got whatever persona down beautifully. The cocky, arrogant, fucking playboy, pretty boy, he's got it down to a point where he came out wearing trousers. He came out wearing pants. The Mexican flag colors. And in the middle of the match, he takes his pants off like he's some fucking playboy popping out of a fucking cake. And the crowd went crazy for it. This was great shit. Absolutely great shit. This match was fantastic. It was the perfect match to start this tournament off with because both guys were high-flying. Both guys were just in a sense of, I guess, adrenaline. And they wanted this. They wanted to come out and say, you want the NXT breakouts? Here you go. This is what we're going to give you. And it did not disappoint, man. This was great. Again, my first look at Angel Garza ever. So I'm not familiar with what he did previously. But, man, if he is this good, NXT's got the next breakout star legitimately, even if he doesn't win this tournament. This was fantastic. Wilde and Garza were going back and forth, tit for tat. You know, Garza showing off some of his personality, some of his bravado, some of his cockiness. Joaquin Wilde had a great little story about him having his abs ruined. There was a life-threatening injury or something happened in his life. I don't know fully what his backstory is, which after this little video package that they put together on for Joaquin Wilde, DJZ, it's going to make me go back and kind of reference what the hell happened to him. If you guys want to leave it down in the comments for easy reference for me, I would greatly appreciate it. And it's just a great story for them to tell. This is what WWE needs to do with some of these main roster guys. Why don't you tell a fucking backstory? They did it with Mia Yim. Now I'm more invested in who Mia Yim is, and now I understand why she comes out the way that she does with this theme music that she comes out to. You know, I got a backstory on who she is now, why she's fighting for what she's fighting for. Same thing goes for Joaquin Wilde. Now I know who he is, and I know what's happened to him and what he battled through to be here in NXT. I thought it was great. Back and forth, like I said, they were going tit for tat. Angel Garza with his bravado and his cockiness. Wilde, at one point, gets shoved into the corner, knees to the midsection. Garza flips Wilde into the air and drops him to the mat. Goes for the cocky cover, and this was a story that Morrow tried to portray on commentary, that Garza was just very cocky, and he knew how good he was, and he was very lackadaisical with the covers here on Joaquin Wilde. Garza with some big chops. Wilde returned the favor to Garza. Garza with a drop kick. Wilde looks to get some offense in. Garza fought him off. Wilde with, an inverted atomic drop. Big knees, double knees to the face. Garza out to the floor. Wilde with a suicide dive through the corner of the ring post, through the ropes. Very Sami Zayn or Bayley-like. So it looked very, very, very reminiscent to what Sami Zayn used to do back down in his days in NXT. Back in the ring, Wilde heads to the top. Garza catches him with a kick. Enziguri right to the shoulder. Both now are on the turnbuckle. And an avalanche Spanish fly off the top rope by Garza Jr. looked absolutely fucking crazy. Full Sail went crazy for this. 2 count. Garza couldn't believe it. Wilde tried to roll him up. Garza was so stunned, he was sitting there after the pinfall attempt, which was a 2.5. He stood there with this shocked expression on his face. Wilde said, let me roll him up. So he rolled him up into a crucifix, only got a 2 count. Garza then with a beautiful drop kick and then a butterfly-looking hook stunner into the victory. 1, 2, 3, and Garza Jr. advances to the second round of the NXT Breakout Tournament. Again, man, he came out and it reminded me so much so of Eddie Guerrero. And this guy's going to be a real winner. Joaquin Wilde, it's going to be a little bit for me to get on board with what he's doing because he looks so similar to Mustafa Ali. We don't need 2 of the same looking guys with the same looking entrances in WWE. He has to do something more to stand out. He's got to let me in a little bit else on his story for me to fully invest in what he's trying to be on NXT television. Garza Jr., though, is an absolute stud. This guy's going to be a fucking... I don't even know. He's going to be one of those guys in NXT that you're going to want to watch every single week. That's how good he is just from this one match here in this breakout tournament. I loved it. I thought this was great. The perfect way to start this tournament off right here on NXT. Damian Priest was being asked after his debut match last week If this is a sign of things to come, he stopped them in a very monotone, very New Yorker-like voice. He stopped them and said, well, listen, you guys have not seen anything yet. The name Damian Priest will live on forever. And he walks away into a dark alleyway as if he is a fucking vampire. Damian Priest, I can't wait to see more of what he has to offer. NXT, the new NXT Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits versus the Forgotten Sons. This was supposed to be a non-title match. The Street Profits actually put up the tag team titles on the line here in this match. Before things got going, Ford and Dawkins took the microphone, said the Forgotten Sons think they can step to the champs. Forgotten Sons tried to gloat them into putting the titles on the line, saying that they want the tag team titles. They want this to be a tag team title match. They said if this was for the titles, they could think, that the Forgotten Sons think that they could take the titles from the Street Profits. But that's not the case. Dawkins says, well, why don't we put the titles on the line tonight? He says to Montez Ford. Ford and Cutler get things started. Before that happens, Angelo Dawkins says, yeah, the Forgotten Sons won't be forgotten tonight, but they will be remembered as the first team to lose in the first title defense of the Street Profits. I like that line. So Ford and Cutler get things started first. Ford is getting stomped on in the corner. He continues to go, hammer on with stomps and boots in the corner. And then Blake gets tagged in, double neck breaker, 2 counts. This actually went on for a little bit. Dawkins got tagged in. Stinger splashes in the corner. Exploder suplex to both Cutler and his partner. And then all of a sudden, Jackson Ryker comes in and yanks Ford out of the ring. Ford goes off the top rope with a huge frog splash after a spine buster from Angelo Dawkins. Ford with a huge frog splash goes to the cover and the win. And then right as the 3 count was made, Jackson Ryker yanks Ford out of the ring, saves his teammates. Referee calls for the bell. The Street Profits win here. Wesley Blake was all but dead after that frog splash. Unbelievable stuff there from Montez Ford. DQ win here for the Street Profits. Post-match, Forgotten Sons beat up on the champions, Jackson Ryker, with a huge double axe handle smash on Angelo Dawkins. Out comes Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. They run down to the ring to fight off the Forgotten Sons. They clear out the ring. Street Profits look at the Forgotten Sons. Burch and Lorcan take hold of the titles, and they pick up the titles and they hand them to the Street Profits. So both teams very respectful of one another, but you know why Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch are out there. You know why they picked up the titles. They want a shot at the champions. This was a forgettable situation for the Tag Team Championships and the Forgotten Sons. I don't know how much more NXT is going to invest in the Forgotten Sons. It looked like this was something to completely get them out of the title picture, which is a sad situation because I think that they are very good at what they do. I don't think the gimmick is going to be something that lasts, honestly. I do not want to see them make the main roster because something like this on the main roster is ultimately going to die 1,000 deaths. This looks to be an NXT-only gimmick. And that's a shame because you're putting a ceiling on guys who have busted their ass. And I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. It looks like after tonight they peaked in the Dusty Classic. And they were my MVPs coming out of that tournament. I don't know what's going to happen with the tag team titles, but Street Profits clearly are moving on from the Forgotten Sons. And it was a title match. Jackson Ryker clearly fucked all that up. One opportunity is all you need. You fucked it up. Now Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. And hopefully, once they are fully healed and 100%, maybe we'll get the Street Profits versus the Undisputed Era. That is something I could see headlining a takeover in the near future. Street Profits win here via DQ. And we got some funny situations going on here with the 1-2 combination of Burch and Lorcan and the Street Profits. Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai, great video packages hyping up their steel cage match throughout the evening. We had a very cringe promo from Aaliyah, and she's beyond grateful to put Mia Yim in her place when the two face off next week, one-on-one in the ring. Not really all that excited to see that. They are the Iconics, her and whatever the fuck her name is. I forgot her name. That's how unimportant they are to me. I don't care. Barbie dolls pretending to be wrestlers. is what Iconics 2.0 is. That's all they are. I just don't give a shit. It has no place on NXT. You're merely doing it to fill the hour of television as far as I'm concerned. I don't give a shit. When you got Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler, Candice LeRae, Bianca Belair, you're going to look at the fucking Iconics 2.0 in NXT as something that you could put on a takeover? Again, I ask you, are they at a level in which you could put them on takeover and let them fly and run free with the rest of everybody that excels at a takeover? The answer is no. The answer is no. Go to beauty school and get the fuck out of the ring. That's all I got to say about that. Nikos Rykos. Guy came out looking like PCO's younger brother. Came out, has Oppa on his fucking tights. Comes out wearing this just weird fucking getup. Sleeveless, legless. Like I said, he looked like fucking PCO wearing all the black leather. But PCO's a fucking beast. This guy's a loser. He went one-on-one with Keith Lee. I'm loving Keith Lee's theme music. I didn't like it at first, but man, it fits him so much, and he plays that shit up like a fucking beast. Keith Lee, don't know why he's not in the breakout tournament. He's been on NXT television, but man, he's looking to break out, and I can't wait for him to break out. I look at Keith Lee, every time I see Keith Lee, I envision Keith Lee at the top of the NXT card, man. This guy is great. This was a complete destruction of Nikos Rykos. He chopped Keith Lee, and Keith Lee stood there like, are you fucking kidding me? Keith Lee chopped this guy into oblivion. I'm surprised his chest did not cave in. So, Keith Lee chopped this guy. He stood there completely out of his mind, just drunk after the chops from Keith Lee. Keith Lee bounced off the rope. This guy is still flying, I think. Keith Lee pounced on this guy with a shoulder tackle that leveled him almost out of the fucking ring. The only thing that saved this guy from hitting the fucking steel ramp off this pounce were the ring ropes. I'm looking for Keith Lee to do that big pop-up, that sit-out powerbomb, because I love the way he does it, the fucking height that he gets on his opponent, and when he bounces off the fucking ring mat. Oh my goodness. Keith Lee, it looks like he's got a new finishing move, this torture rack position, or this fireman carries position, rather, into a Death Valley Driver slam, power slam combination. That looks to be his new finishing move. Keith Lee absolutely destroyed this guy via pinfall. He calls it his limit breaker. I don't know if, where'd he get that from? Final Fantasy VII, I'm sure. Keith Lee with the limit breaker. Cover 1, 2, 3. Absolute destruction of Nikos Rykos. Adam Cole. There was this great video package. I don't know why WWE can't do this. Adam Cole, and the video package that they showed of the new NXT champion is on his way to the Download Festival in UK. He is mingling with other superstars of NXT UK. He's mingling with Corey Taylor of Slipknot. Corey Taylor's there at the Download Festival because they performed. Full getup, full mask, full makeup, full costume. He takes the NXT championship from Adam Cole. He's there talking to Adam Cole. Cole takes the title, hands it to Corey Taylor. And Corey Taylor's like, wow, this is heavy. This is the real deal here, folks. The real deal. So Corey Taylor's even putting over the NXT fucking title. So Cole is on his way to the Download Festival. They documented him in a match with Dave Mastiff for the NXT title. Cole says Gargano has no idea what it's like to travel like he does. He's not a Star Wars like Cole. I thought he was going to mention Star Wars. That's what I got in the notes here. I must have fucking not been attentive of my spell check. Somehow the fucking spell check put Star Wars. I didn't go back and check it. He is not a star like Cole. So we see clips of Cole defending his title at the Download Fest. Cole then is on a private jet. He flies back to the States. And he says Johnny Gargano can't fly like a rock star. He doesn't take private jets. And Adam Cole's just living the life of a champion. So Adam Cole arrives back in the States. He's in a limo. And Adam Cole is on the phone with Roderick Strong about a restaurant. You got the name and the address of that place. Yeah, okay, cool. You got that order for me. So Roderick Strong put in an order for Adam Cole for food at this place called Gargano's. So he tells the limo driver, does Adam Cole, you got the name and the place of that restaurant, right? He's like, okay, go. So he pulls up. Looks like a shoddy neighborhood. rolls the window down. He's got something in his hand. He gets out of the car and walks into Gargano's, and then that's it. Next week, Adam Cole's Bay Bay Celebration Tour continues. I'm loving this shit already. I can't wait to see what happens when he walks into Gargano's. Good shit there, man. Next week, they advertise Roderick Strong versus Tyler Breeze, which makes sense. Give Roddy another win over a credible name in Tyler Breeze and move him on to the North American Championship. And then next week, we got The Swerve, Shane Strickland, now known as Isaiah Scott, versus Cameron Grimes in another first-round NXT Breakout Tournament match. So NXT, you got the opening match here with the Breakout Tournament in Angel Garza and you had DJ Z, Joaquin Wilde. And then we're going to close with this unbelievable match of the week between Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai. Steel cage match for the NXT Women's Championship. This was crazy. This was crazy. I love the whole look of the steel cage inside Full Sail. I loved how crazy the crowd was. They were into this thing since the opening bell. Shayna Baszler, I want to point out, she was wearing MMA-style gloves. She's a cage fighter. She's a steel cage match with Io Shirai. She broke out the MMA look. I loved it. Attention to detail. Baszler was beating up on Io Shirai like a rag doll in this thing. Very methodical, throwing Io Shirai into the cage, and Shirai sold those steel cage shots like a beast. She was being launched inside the steel cage, onto the cage itself. Great shit. Baszler was cranking on Shirai's neck, working on the neck, working on just breaking Shirai down with submission holds. She was owning the pace of this match, which is typical Shayna Baszler. So Io finally starts to make a dropkick. Baszler tries to send Shirai into the cage again. Baszler goes into the cage, and Shirai hits two missile dropkicks, with Baszler's back against the steel cage. She's back first in the cage and in between the ropes. Shirai is coming off the ropes full steam ahead with missile dropkicks, sending the champ into the cage. Double knees to the back of Baszler. German suplex, 2 count. It was a German with a bridge, only a 2 count there by Shirai. Double knees in the corner on Baszler. Shirai heads to the top rope, then goes to the top of the cage. Baszler chases after Shirai and brings her back down to the top rope. Baszler looks to choke Shirai out off the top rope, and Shirai gets dumped down to the mat. Shirai is able to get back up, hit a German suplex on Baszler off the top rope. So that was a great spot. Shirai heads out the door as the referee opens the door. This is where things get a little fucking crazy here. As the referee is opening the door, it's the female ref on the outside and one of the male referees on the inside. I don't know their names. I wish I did. But it's the female ref on the outside. She goes to open the door, and both Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir run out and hold the referee against the door, preventing Io Shirai from escaping the cage. The door ends up getting kicked in, sending Shirai, Duke, and the referee completely out. So the referee is out. She's taken out of the entire match altogether. Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir are still a little active, but the referee, she's out completely, does not make another appearance in this match. So the door gets kicked open, everybody goes flying. Referee is in the corner by the barricade. Shafir gets up and locks the door so that Shirai cannot get out of the cage. Shirai then climbs the cage and meets Shafir at the top. Marina Shafir locked the door, so Shirai couldn't get out. Shirai said, fuck this shit, I'm climbing the cage. And Marina Shafir ended up climbing the cage up there to stop Shirai up top. Candice LeRae comes running down to help Io Shirai, sends Duke inside, or sends Duke to the side of the cage, rather. She gets taken out for now. She ends up climbing the cage and kicks Shafir off the cage, letting Io Shirai at least attempt to get out of the match. She could have won the match. This is why I don't understand spots like this. You got Candice LeRae out there helping, and Io Shirai made the dumb mistake of moonsaulting back into the match off the top, taking out Baszler. Dumb babyface syndrome, like Solomonster says. Dumb babyface syndrome. all you had to do is position yourself to climb out the outside of the cage and hit the floor. You would have won the championship because you had Candice LeRae there to monitor what the hell was going on. I don't understand that. So after Shafir locked the door, we had Candice LeRae run out. Duke is taken out. She kicks Shafir off the cage. Io Shirai, instead of climbing down and winning the title, she moonsaults off the top of the cage. Her acai moonsault off the top of the cage onto Shayna Baszler with Duke in the ring. Duke ended up opening the cage and going into the ring and trying to pull Baszler out. So that was that. Both are down, crawling towards the door now. Both Baszler and Shirai. Both are stopping each other from advancing at every chance they got. Shirai is nearly out the door. Just picture, just imagine Dolph Ziggler on Stomping Grounds before Kofi Kingston launched himself through the ropes. That is exactly what Shirai was doing. She looked and was placed in the same position Dolph Ziggler was at Stomping Grounds inside their steel cage match for the WWE title. Shirai is nearly out the door, just barely gets her foot in position to launch herself out. Baszler tries to choke Shirai out, with Shirai's body halfway in the ring and halfway outside the ring to the floor. Baszler decides to lock in the Kirifuda clutch with Shirai's body halfway outside the ring, and she's choking her using the ropes for leverage. Shirai tries to fight it off. She locks it again, does Baszler. Shirai's in the hole. Just picture her in the Kirifuda clutch. She's got Shayna Baszler and her head bashing against the turnbuckle. She's got Baszler on her back, and she's pushing Baszler back against the turnbuckle at this point. So Baszler locks this in again. Shirai is fading. She's completely passing out. And then slams the door into Baszler's head over and over again. The turnbuckle didn't work, so Shirai, fucking half unconscious, takes her hands on the cage, and she pulls the door back into Baszler's head, trying to loosen the hold that way. Baszler gets knocked out cold in the hold, in the Kirifuda clutch, but she fell outside the ring. Io Shirai bashed Baszler's head with the door, and Baszler's dead weight propelled her to the outside, and she hit the floor, and she won the match and retains the NXT Women's Championship. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They had you. If I didn't know what the fucking spoilers were, I could have really bought into a new women's champion. But Baszler wins and retains the NXT Women's Championship. Post-match, the horsewomen are there. They lead Baszler out. LeRae comes back in to check on Shirai. And out of nowhere, Shirai starts to attack Candice LeRae. I had a feeling coming out of TakeOver that this was exactly the direction WWE was going to go in. There's no better way for a heel turn than to turn on Candice LeRae, who is beloved by everybody, and obviously she is associated with Johnny Gargano. I think that was great. Now, I don't know who's next in line for the NXT Women's Championship. By the looks of it, it looks like Mia Yim is going to be next in line, which I don't necessarily agree with. But if that is the case, I mean this wholeheartedly. Io Shirai, sore loser. I don't think Io Shirai needs to get another title shot after tonight. Steel cage matches are matches that blow all feuds. And Io Shirai portrayed herself in a new light, and she portrayed herself as a sore loser. If this is the Women's Championship direction, with Shayna Baszler retaining, going into the next takeover against Mia Yim, WWE clearly is putting a lot of investment and a lot of time into Mia Yim to tell her story. If this is the case, Mia Yim should not beat Shayna Baszler. I'm telling you right now. I feel like Mia Yim, though she's very talented, and you might think high of Mia Yim, I do not see Mia Yim as a NXT Women's Champion. At least not yet anyway. I'm not completely sold on Mia Yim. I would have put the belt on Bianca Belair before I put the belt on Mia Yim. But if this is the case and Shayna Baszler goes through Mia Yim, there is no better title feud right now for Shayna Baszler to drop that title than Candice LeRae. A lot of people I spoke to have predicted this. A lot of people that I've spoken to actually want this to be the case. I think it needs to be the case. Then you have a true-cut babyface in Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai, who is going to be a full-blown heel at that point, battling over the Women's Championship, and Shayna Baszler gets called up to the main roster around Survivor Series Royal Rumble. That's the way I envision things. Io Shirai turned on Candice LeRae. She started punching Candice LeRae, and then she stopped, kind of thinking, I fucked up. I meant to take my frustrations out in another way, and I attacked you out of a fit of anger and jealousy over the fact that I didn't win the championship. So she backed away. She goes outside the ring, and it looked like she was about to walk away. She goes underneath the ring, grabs a steel chair, and bashes Candice LeRae over the back with a steel chair, brutally attacking Candice LeRae. She then sets up the chair, and she suplexes Candice LeRae over the chair. Brutal fucking stuff. And she's yelling in Japanese. I don't want to be on the receiving end of Io Shirai or Asuka yelling in Japanese at me. It's terrifying. Shirai then heads up the ramp. Crowd is booing. She's again yelling in Japanese, saying, I don't need friends. I heard Kairi and a bunch of Japanese gibberish, and that's all I heard. And she walks away, and the crowd is booing her, raining her down with boos, still yelling in Japanese, and you clearly heard her. I don't even care. And she walks away. I didn't know whether to fucking be upset for Candice or smile over the fact that Io is now being presented in a new light, which is fucking exciting. This is exciting stuff. I'm excited for the NXT Women's Division again. Look at the talent that they have in the Women's Division just with this heel turn. You got Mia Yim, who I want to believe in and I want to find some investment in. Shayna Baszler is fucking fantastic. You got Candice LeRae, you got Io Shirai, you got Bianca Belair. Those 5 women are carrying this division. And like I said in the beginning, the women's division on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live don't even hold a candle to what the women in NXT have always done. This was on weekly television. I asked myself the same thing when I talk about the tag team division. How could you watch Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live and watch a 2-minute match with Ember Moon and Sonya Deville and then not like this? How could anyone praise that as good and then watch something like this? If you're Vince McMahon and anybody who's fucking producing these shows and has hands-on with these shows, how could you look at your women's division and say, yeah, whatever, and not be proud or not want to present your women in this manner? I really don't understand it. It's like a tale of two different fucking worlds. How does nobody find that this is what is needed on the main roster? You don't think Natalya would love to be in something like this? You don't think Ember Moon would love to be in something like this? You don't think Asuka would love to be in something like this? You don't think Bayley wants this sort of competition? You don't think the women who have been poorly handled and mistreated, you don't think they want to be in something like this? This is why you become a professional wrestler. Whoever booked this match, whoever produced this match, I could do without the stupidity of the babyface. All she had to do was climb over the cage. And I'm not even going to zing them on that, because it's in the heat of the moment, and she hated Shayna Baszler so much for what she did to Kairi Sane that she wanted to do a fucking moonsault onto Shayna Baszler off the top of the cage. It was aesthetically pleasing, but it wasn't the wisest of decisions. But outside that little blemish, whoever produced this match, I'd love to shake your hand because you did a fucking fantastic job with it. Yes, I know the steel cage matches are run-of-the-mill in WWE. They're used to blow off feuds, and they try to tell a very captivating story, and it's supposed to keep out all outsiders from coming on in, but that's never the case. WWE went about it in a way that made for a compelling, very exciting edge-of-your-seat action. And I love that. I was not bored at all during this match, and even with the hiccups and the the bland, boring formula of steel cage matches in WWE, they somehow worked around that to give you something that was edge of your seat, great fucking storytelling, with a surprise heel turn at the end that seen Io Shirai not capturing the Women's Championship and then taking her frustrations out on the one person that had her back since Kairi Sane got demoted to the main roster. I love it. I think it's fucking great. I can't wait to see where they go with this, and I love to see Candice get a shot, and I can't wait to see how Io progresses in her new role. I think this is great. I can't wait to see what happens. That's your NXT review, guys. Thank you so very much for everything. I will be back. I don't know what I'm going to do. I know you guys overwhelmingly want me to cover NXT UK. If I'll watch it tonight, I might have something up for you guys tomorrow. But if not, I will see you guys on Friday. Believe me, Friday's open to Off the Script is something you guys are going to want to hear. It's all about Seth Rollins and him defending Vince McMahon's creative on the main roster and him blasting his best friend, Jon Moxley, for leaving the WWE and going all elite. Thank you guys so very much. Please make sure to follow me on social media at JD206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Remember, harrys.com/script for your $13 value trial set. audibletrial.com/offthescript for your 30 days free and one free audio book of your choice. Great way to support the podcast by both Audible and Harry's. And make sure you guys check out all the other videos that you might have missed this week, including Off the Script last weekend, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown Live so far this week. Thank you guys so very much. Please hit that thumbs up, and then we'll see you all right back here for Off the Script this coming weekend. Episode 280 is going to be a banger. You don't want to miss it. See you guys later.